The two columns that I show here are the baseline projection of CBO, which I'm sure many of you know is one they sort of have to make because they have to have a baseline projection that follows current statute. There are a lot of things in current statute which everybody who breathes regularly understand will not remain unchanged. A notable one with respect to health care is whether doctors are going to continue to be paid as they are under the so-called sustainable growth rate formula now on the books. It has booked huge reductions in physician salaries that nobody believes will be allowed to take effect. And so the alternative scenario allows for the likelihood that physician salaries will rise faster than current law permits. So here's the answer. And one more question. If you look at entitlements and all other government spending, apart from Medicare and Medicaid, including every nickel of Social Security promised under current law, no cuts built into this question here. What about the rest of the budget? Again, as a share of GDP, what does CBO's projections foretell? An increase, a decrease, or staying about the same? Well, the answer is they do two projections again. Their baseline projection is that there is no change between now and 2050 in the share of GDP spent on everything other than Medicare and Medicaid, up 0.1%. I call that no change. The alternative scenario, which includes the higher spending on Medicare physician benefits and some other items as well, sees an increase of 1.7 percentage points over that 41-year period. I do not have here, Virginia may remember, there have been periods during which the budget as a share of GDP has gone up and down by larger amounts than this over relatively brief periods of 5-7 years because of temporary or as perceived urgent current needs like defense buildups following the 2001 attack. And we've done that, handled that quite handily over a relatively few years. This is 1.7% of GDP, to which we could adjust over 41 years. So the answer is it varies from slightly up to not really up at all, depending on which CBO projection you look at. That's everything other than Medicare and Medicaid. And finally, I think this is my last question. This is a simple one. It's just true or false. There are not three choices, just two. It is a political question. So asking you true or false really isn't fair. This is not something which has got an actual true or false answer. It's a matter of judgment. But the question is the way to deal with the long-term fiscal problem to cut Medicare and Medicaid? And the answer here is much more complicated. The practical fact is you can't, if you want to continue to sustain the commitment to provide care similar to what the rest of us enjoy, cut just Medicare and Medicaid. You have to deal with the healthcare system as a whole and deal with systemic reform of the way we pay for, the way we organize and deliver health care in general. And that is, I think, the fundamental point that one should note about the budget prospects. And so I have two, actually, not one, central conclusion. If you're looking into the future, it is wrong to say we face an entitlement crisis. It's just very misleading. What we face is a very large, difficult, and surpassingly important challenge to reform the healthcare system. If we do that, and I submit that we really have to do it, we will, in the process, have taken care of the long-term fiscal problem. And I want to stress right here and now, for purposes of what I'm saying right now, it is possible to deal with this healthcare problem in ways that would make Republicans happy and Democrats miserable, that would improve the healthcare system over where we are today. It is possible to do it in ways that would make Democrats happy and Republicans miserable and improve the system relative to where we are now. This is an area where a measure of bipartisan consensus must be found for us to make progress. It's going to require buy-in from both political parties to deal with health care reform. And it's important to do both because it'll mean better health care for us, but also because it will mean that we have solved our long-term fiscal problem.